Jerry Brooks. I'm the second oldest of 5 kids. I've been clean and sober for 18 years. And I grew up in Marietta, Georgia. And my goal was to play professional baseball.
My name is Mary L. Reese. I was born in Greater Memorial Hospital, Atlanta, Georgia.
My name is Hezekiah Mahoney. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina.
My name is Walter Wright. I was born in Marietta, Georgia, 1957.
I remember one time my mother told me, she said, I believe you have a drug problem and you just ain't telling nobody. And I told her I didn't, and I was in denial for a very long time.
Marijuana was around my family. My brothers kind of like sold the product.
I guess the reason why I used drugs, I was trying to accumulate the pain, get the pain away from what my father was doing, trying to consume the pain away.
I guess because I wanted to fit in with everybody else.
There is something unfortunate happening right here in our community. A blight on humanity. A plague draining the very life from everyone and everything it touches. Once this disease has set its hooks into a person's life, it often becomes a similar curse for every generation that is to follow. The real tragedy is, it appears to be winning. Entire communities are being negatively impacted. People from every walk of life are being attacked by this dreaded disease. Its negative effect drains our county, state, and federal infrastructure of precious resources. No one is exempt. It creates a financial burden that is felt by all in the community.
When we speak about generations curse spiritually, in the process of the disease concept of addiction, we think about biogenetics. Biogenetics meaning genetic factor, grandmother, mother, the biological parents, and the sibling and the offspring is also addicted to drugs and alcohol. They have a higher chance of being addicted to some type of mood-altering chemical, especially in male if it's alcohol. The disease of addiction is very devastating. It's very devastating to the molar, when you think about the chronic effects, the compulsive, the impact it has on a community. The community can be devastated with an addict. Crime increase, HIV increase, defects issues increase because you have addicted parents. You have the legality component of a children are being adopted out because their mothers are unable to provide parental care. If we can address the medical model of addiction by teaching people that treatment does work. There's a multitude of information, scientific information stating that treatment does work. The thing with society, why are addicted people dealing with any type of addictive disease are being denied treatment when it has this devastating impact on the community?
This disease has no boundaries, no racial or national barriers of any kind. Whether the victim be affluent or underprivileged, black or white, this enemy to all of mankind patiently and silently awaits its next victim.
I've got a new life.
At last there's hope.
The old me.
It is a long-awaited breakthrough. Is it perhaps a discovery in medical science? No, it is not a revolutionary treatment, but a very old and reliable method indeed.
I've got a new
This solution has existed since before time itself. It isn't just a 12-step program. It is a 12-step recovery program called Soul Changers,
just like you and me.
with the emphasis on Christ.
Through God's grace,
Now there exists a successful perpetuating example of how God's love is working through the lives of a few precious and anointed individuals at Soul Changers.
In my interaction with Jerry Brooks, I realized that he was motivated by one thing, Jesus Christ. It was a unique motivation for me because I've always thought there are practical answers to everything. Jerry didn't have a practical answer to anything. What he had was practical experience with miraculous results but he didn't have a plan. His plan was, we'll rent a house, we'll put drug addicts in it, and Jesus will take care of the rest. And I thought, you know, I've never had an opportunity in my life to test Jesus Christ out personally. This is it. This is a great opportunity. You can move from theory quickly into reality and say, if this works, it's going to work this time, because I can't run this place. Jerry can't run this place. Andre can't run this place. Who's going to be running this place? And Jerry's answer was, Jesus Christ run the place. Well, with Jesus as the house manager, we went to Marietta, rented a 4-bedroom house, 2-bath, middle of a neighborhood, brought one man in from jail and one man in from a psych ward. I was in the ministry at the time, and I thought, here we go. Yeah. 7 years later, ain't it? I think it's 7 years later.
Oh, what it does to me, it's as mighty as a parting of the sea. It's a miracle to me.
Through the love of Jesus Christ, people are giving of themselves tirelessly and selflessly to others. This in itself is the example needed to the truly poor individuals who all too often have given up all hope. At Soul Changers, this love of Jesus Christ is exemplified daily, and in like turn, the recently ministered to or residents become the ones doing the ministering and counseling. These are walking, talking success stories. These are the examples so desperately needed to change yet even more lives. As it was in the first church, a perpetuating army of believers heroically returning to the trenches from which they were delivered, with a rescue mission, taking the poor and the needy by the hand and lifting them up and forever out of the bondage that has imprisoned them. This embodied army of successful believers has become a pattern and an example of what can happen when you decide to fully turn your life over to the risen Savior. A walking testimony to the soon-to-be successful that recovery can work, and it does work. A message of you can be set free through the love of Jesus Christ. Multiple success stories, testimonies, lives forever changed, families reunited. These are the next success stories just waiting to be written. Yet at the same time, being a thorough level of supervision that is almost impermeable to being conned or deceived. A fox-like army of counselors possessing the street smarts required to administer the tough love, yet simultaneously operating within the love of Jesus that simply never ends. Sounds simple enough, doesn't it? Oh, but it's not that simple. Soul Changers is a complex organism of constantly expanding and changing needs. Typically, the resident at Soul Changers has never had experience as a productive family member.
Go to the list up here and find which letters by your name, and that pertains to what chore you'll be doing for that evening. It's really a simple program to follow, and at the same time it adds structure towards your life. I wasn't used to doing chores on the street. I was kind of spoiled. I had things done for me all the time. Now when I come home from work, I have some responsibility, and I feel like it's really helping my life a lot.
The needs of a recovering addict start with the spiritual, but must also include practical needs such as food, shelter, and clothing, counseling, doctors, mental, medical, and dentistry needs, medications, legal and accounting, educational, transportation, occupational training and job placement help, haircuts.
Just getting an ID, something as simple as getting an ID. I mean, they issue you a card when you get out of prison. It has the Georgia State seal on it, it has your picture on it, it has your social security number, it has your birthday, but they will not accept it at the DMV. You cannot use that to get a state of Georgia ID. And it's just little things like that that are stumbling blocks and hurdles. I mean, you know, I doubt anyone in this house, out of the 17 million in this house, came here with a birth certificate. And you would not believe how hard it is to get ID when you don't have any ID. I mean, it's almost impossible, you know?
All of this may sound a bit overwhelming, but thanks to the sacrifice and support of many individuals empowered by God, Soul Changers is now changing entire communities the way Jesus did, one soul at a time.
Find a little happiness in this old world, but there's so much to be thankful for. From the rising of the sun till the day is done, the love I have for you goes out to everyone. It's a miracle to me, like the sprouting of the seed, getting all it needs to become a lovely flower. When I look at you,